guys, Ben and Rebecca with His and Hers Alaska here, and today we're on our way up to Anchorage to catch a flight out to LAX.
We thought we'd take this opportunity to share with you some of the ins and outs of traveling in and out of Anchorage. Many of you that come up here have to pass through that airport, and so we thought we could probably offer some useful information to you.
The first thing we want to let you know about is something that hangs a lot of people up and costs them a lot of money too. Most of the affordable flights in and out of Anchorage depart in the middle of the night and arrive in the middle of the night. So there's that confusion of we're departing on August 5th at 12:30 a.m. Well, that's actually the night of August 4th. So you really need to double check and dot the I's and cross the T's when you're booking and reserving your plane tickets.
Perhaps some people would think that this would go without saying. However, in Alaska we do have a very limited road system. And so there's really, like, we're coming from Seward. For us, there's one way in and one way out. So if you are traveling into Anchorage to catch a flight home, really be sure that you allow a significant cushion. This past week we've had wildfires that actually our neighbors' kids missed their flight, but the wildfires hung them up. We have a 2-lane highway from the peninsula going into Anchorage, so if there's an accident or anything, you could be looking at the roads being closed for a couple of hours. There's also the consideration of weather. In the summertime it rains here a lot. In the winter, if you're here in the shoulder season, either early in the springtime or late in the fall, you do risk the opportunity of encountering snow, which, if it catches people off guard, delays the traffic. One time I was traveling for work and flew from Prince William Sound back into Anchorage, and then there was an avalanche on the Seward Highway that closed it for 48 hours, and I was stuck in Anchorage. That was in October. So it can really happen early in the year. It doesn't have to be the middle of winter.
Another thing I would like to mention is if you're an Alaska resident and you haven't already joined the Alaska Airlines Club 49, just go ahead and do it. It's an amazing club and you get special promotional airfares, but what's really cool is for your flights in and out of Alaska, you get to have 2 free checked bags, which is pretty awesome. And when you're buying your tickets, well, if you have 2 bags, that's $50 each way, $100. So definitely something to factor in when you're shopping for plane tickets.
A few years back, I worked a stint out in Dutch Harbor, and something that I learned from the locals there was how to buy flights when you're traveling in-state. They don't actually purchase flights for dollars when they are traveling from Anchorage to Dutch or Anchorage to Nome or Anchorage to Barrow. They actually use miles. And even if you don't have enough miles, you can purchase miles for less than what it would cost you to purchase an airline ticket out to Dutch Harbor. Now, I worked out there 5 years ago, so the prices might have changed, but I will give you an example of what it was like when I worked out there. The plane tickets, if you purchased them, were $1,100, but if you used miles, it was 15,000 miles round trip. Any air travel on Alaska Airlines within the state of Alaska is 15,000 miles round trip. And at that time, you could purchase 15,000 miles for $500. So you can see that it's a considerable savings and something to think about when you are traveling in-state by air.
We have a lot of RV travelers that follow our channel, and this is going to be some useful information for you. So if you're not planning on driving your RV up to Alaska and you would like to rent one, that's not a big deal. When in fact most of the rental agencies have their own shuttle vans, so they will pick you up from the airport. But in the off chance that they do not, or you're renting from a smaller private business, like a mom and pop business that rents out one RV out of their garage, they might not have a shuttle service. And for the most part, you can get to the center or most places in Anchorage for like a $30 taxi ride. We don't have Ubers right now. They tried a couple years ago and it did not go over well. We also really like to recommend people renting a motorhome instead of staying in hotels. The benefits of renting a motorhome in Alaska are immense because you don't have to unpack your bags every night. You can take the time to embrace the Alaska mindset because it's not just a destination, it is a distinct mindset. And if you like a place a lot, well, you can stay another day. Whereas if you're bouncing from bed and breakfast or hotel to hotel, you are going to have reservations and you're going to need to stick to a plan. Renting an RV also saves you tons of money because hotel rooms are ridiculous and you're going to need to rent a car too. So you might as well rent a car and a home to stay in while you're here all in one fell swoop. Another money-saving benefit to renting a motorhome is you have the ability to cook your own meals. Food in Alaska is expensive. Food at restaurants in Alaska is very expensive. And the motorhome gives you the option of hitting a grocery store in Anchorage or even Costco, stocking up on a week's worth of supplies or two if that's how long you're staying, and heading out knowing that you're fully stocked and you can make healthier, more affordable meals while you're on the road.
One of the things that Alaska is known for above all else is the fishing. Whether you go out on the rivers for salmon or out on the ocean for halibut, lingcod, rockfish, salmon, the abundance here is amazing. If you're planning a trip up here, you'd be remiss not to go fishing. Once you catch all that fish, the question is what to do with it and how to get it home. So we have a couple of suggestions on that front. First of all, in terms of preparing it for the trip home, you can find fish processing companies in most of the towns up here in Alaska. You can take it into them once it's been filleted by your captain or deckhand, and they will backpack it for you and put it in a cooler that you can then take home with you. It's a styrofoam box inside of a regular cardboard box, and they'll put ice packs in there for you and pack it all up and have it ready to go. If you do that, your fish will stay frozen for 24 hours and be perfect for you to get home with. Once you've got it packed, you might wonder how you actually get it home. Well, you can check that styrofoam and cardboard box as one of your checked pieces of luggage on any of the major air carriers up here, and they'll drop it in baggage claim for you on the other end. So no reason not to go fishing and not to take a big stockpile home with you that you can put in your freezer and enjoy for the rest of the year. One thing you might wonder about in regards to that is the cost. And they consider it a regular checked bag as long as it's under 50 pounds. And most of them are. You can generally get a 15-pound box or a 50-pound box. And if they've packed it for you and you've told them you're taking it home on an airplane, they'll make sure they keep it under 50 for you. One of the services that the fish processing companies might offer you is to overnight your fish home to you. And if for some reason you're not going straight to the airport after you pick your fish up or something along those lines, it is an option, but you're paying for convenience. In order to get a 50-pound box of fish home, you're looking at about $300 overnighted to the lower 48.
So now I'm going to talk about how to get the best deal on flights in and out of Alaska. Number one, there's a guy called Scott McMurran, and he has a blog called Alaska Travelgram. Find him on Facebook, find him on Twitter, find his blog. He is a wealth of information for flights in and out of Anchorage. He regularly shares amazing deals that he's found through his travel searches because he is a travel agent. So give him a follow because he regularly shares amazing deals in and out of Anchorage. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is there's JetBlue. They've really changed the way airlines are pricing their tickets in and out of Anchorage. They are a budget flying airlines, I'm guessing, and they have flights, for example, one way between Anchorage and Seattle for $99. That's huge because it used to be $500-$600 for a round-trip ticket to Seattle, and that's ridiculous. JetBlue also flies out of Long Beach, and you can get tickets out of Long Beach round trip for about $350, and that's a non-stop flight, Long Beach to Anchorage. That's a heck of a deal. So because JetBlue has kind of stepped up the game here, the other airlines have no other choice but to fall right into line and drop their prices as well. So Alaska now regularly offers flights in that $330 to $350 range round trip in and out of LAX. So that's a heck of a deal as well.
That about wraps it up for us in terms of our suggestions for traveling in and out of Anchorage, Alaska. Hopefully this has helped you out a little bit and maybe even inspired you to go ahead and book that trip for the summer. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you can follow our adventures, share with your friends, but above all else, enjoy the ride.